Okay. Okay, we're live. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we have 6 attendees, okay?
All right.
Okay. So we're gonna have to ask Rachel that she has to turn on her camera if possible.
Rachel, did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm also having some difficulties, but I'm working on it.
I'll go.
I'll send Brian right
As
now.
soon as I can.
All right, you're gonna get some help, Rachel.
Okay, yeah,
I was just having issues as well. Beyond my
Okay,
normal issues, I'm talking.
was that Brian?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, I will be on as soon as I can. Sorry
Okay.
about
That's
that.
so, you do want to clarify that, Sal, for everybody.
technical issues.
Right, Rachel, you can hear us, right?
Yeah, I can hear you guys and see you guys. You just can't see me.
Okay.
And I will be on as soon as I can.
All right, then I'm going to open the meeting. So to start with, this is the Special Events Advisory Committee meeting on Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 at 3 o'clock. Consistent with Chapter 20, the Acts of 2021. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort has been made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. All right, so the first thing we're going to have is the approval of the minutes from, do you want to do it separate, Joanne, or you want to do both of them? We can do both of them, right? This,
We can do both of them at the same time, yeah.
so it'll be April 7th, 2022 and May 5th, 2022. Any comments or corrections on those minutes? Not hear any. A motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
All right, and a roll call vote, please?
So Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apps,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
and Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos, yes. Rachel, you would have to abstain because you haven't attended any of the other meetings, so it'll be, the motion passes.
Understood.
Okay,
I'm going to give a couple of minutes to see if IT can get Rachel picture up on the screen.
okay. So Barry, is Tom not coming today?
He said he was running late. He should be here.
Okay, all right.
Rachel, were you, was the new food inspector going to be on these?
Yes, I was expecting him. I will also check in with him. Brian's helping me out right now. So I was expecting him to attend this too.
He sent me an email this morning and I resent the panelist invite and he did acknowledge that he received it.
Okay, let me check in on that right now and hopefully Brian can get me on in just a second.
Okay.
I think one of the problems over here for us anyways has been the cameras that they purchased for us over here were the ones that were available at the time, and they were the inexpensive ones, and I think they're all starting to fail. So we've been having a lot of problems with our cameras.
Okay, I'm going to just exit out and enter back in, and he thinks that will work.
Okay, thank you. Julian, how many members do we need to have a quorum?
We have 9, we need 6.
6, okay. So we're good there. We'll just give her a couple more minutes and then we'll start.
Okay.
All right, we have you.
Sorry about that. That was weird.
Oh, and I think Jacob is signing on also.
Thank you, Brian, for saving the day as always. Just a normal day, Brian fixing everything for me.
So Bill, do you want to introduce Rachel and Jacob?
Rachel, I think we've introduced before, right?
This is my first time.
Yes, for the attendees who are on the call, not knowing who some of the members are of the CIAC committee.
I can introduce myself. My name is Rachel Blau-Toller. I'm the Assistant Director of Public Health in Gloucester. Typically from the health department was Brian representing us, but he's moved on. And so we have a new health inspector, Jake Taylor, who's on the call as well. And so we are transitioning into other folks representing the department on our end. So it's nice to meet everyone.
All right, nice to have you guys on board. Rachel, we've known from your previous job. Mr. Taylor, thank you very much for being here and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so let's get back to our agenda. Now we have our technical problems fixed. And our first special event is 2238 Dogtown Guided Walks on September 10th and 11th, 2022 at Dogtown. It is continued from May 5th, and I believe we continued it because we had a question on where they were going to park. And I did just see she has attached, I'm sorry, I forget who that was.
Through the chair. It was Catherine Bayless, and she had a conflict coming today, but she did send me the approval from the Gloucester Public Schools, and I attached it to her application. I uploaded it, and they are allowed to use the O'Malley parking lot on Sunday, September 11th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. to park 12 vehicles while the owners are attending the guided walks in Dogtown. And all the conditions are in this letter, and that is signed by Gary Frisch, the Chief Financial Officer. So you can look at that documentation on her application, attached to her application.
Okay, I did see that. I had it up and then I lost it, but I got it.
And she
Okay.
did ask if possible to approve this without her attending because of a conflict, personal conflict in this meeting. So it's really up to the committee whether they want to move forward on this or continue it again.
We have any objections to moving forward with this? Seems the only question we really had was the parking, and she's now obtained parking at the end of the school. Anybody got any objections to that?
No parking is going to be at the O'Malley School.
Yes.
No, I think there's plenty of room over there for the neighbors and everything to be fine with that.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Just want to say it's nice to meet everybody. My first Zoom call and everything, so I'm sorry if I'm a little behind the trail with this right now. So apologize for that in advance.
We'll get you up to speed in no time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, not hearing any more comments or questions on this, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
and roll call vote, please.
Okay, so we're gonna have Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Sal DiStefano,
yes.
Rachel Belize Toller,
Yes.
Jacob Taylor,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos. Yes, the motion passes.
All right. Our next special event will be special event 2242, Music on the Meeting House Green on Fridays, July 28th, 2022 through September 9th, 2022, with a rain date of September 2nd, 2022 at 50 Middle Street on the large green in front of the Unitarian Church. Do we have somebody here representing them?
I have a Kate who has her hand up and Charles.
We bring them in.
I did. Somebody might have to mute themselves. Okay. So I see Charles. I think Charles is Nazarian who submitted the application. And I'm not sure about Katie Marston if she's a co-applicant.
I submitted the application, if you can hear me.
Yes,
we can, Charles.
Can you also see me or just the audio?
Just the audio.
Okay, that's fine. Would you like me to give you just a brief summary of what the Music on Meeting House Green is about? Or would
Yeah.
you like me to answer any specific questions?
Why don't you give us a summary of what it's about, what it's doing, and what goes on Fridays?
Okay. As many of you may know, this is a unique series to Gloucester that we started 7 years ago. This will be our 7th year. We did skip 1 year due to COVID. And what it does is it puts together local musical groups, a different one each Friday night. It's free to public, and the public gets to hear the music, and also they get to hear from a different nonprofit every Friday night, which is their beneficiary. And what we do is we send buckets through the audience, and they make free will offerings towards the local nonprofit of the evening. So for example, we will begin this year with John Baboyan Guitar Ensemble in support of Pathways for Children. Pathways has been our opener from the very beginning, so it's something of a tradition. The season sometimes starts out a little slow in attendance, maybe 150 to 175. By the end of the season, we're usually up closer to 275. I think our largest number to date was 300 on the green. The green's about the size of a football field, so it's comfortable enough for that many people. The sound level of the music is moderate. We have different groups like Ezekiel's Wheel, that's a klezmer group, and another jazz ensemble coming, Marie Martin. We have a few who are a little stronger, like Tony Goddess and his wife Samantha, and the Goddesses. They do 50s through 70s rock favorites, but it's not real loud. We are always careful about adjusting the amplification. The green actually has a natural acoustics because of St. John's on one side and the street on the other side with houses on Church Street. And so we don't have to push the music very hard. It works very, very efficiently. So what happens every week is that the nonprofits get to address the audience both at the beginning and at the intermission. And we announce at the end of the program how much money was raised. Last year, with 9 events, a little over $15,000 was raised for the various charities. The biggest one was the last one with the Cape Ann Big Band, and that one raised just over $5,000 for Afghan relief efforts. If you remember, that was shortly after we left Afghanistan in very bad circumstances. There is no alcohol served. We do have a different food vendor each week that's licensed by the city. They come in and do their thing. It is held entirely on the property of the UU Church, and we don't ask to close a city street or sidewalk. Those are always unimpeded, and we do our own recycling and trash handling. So it's something that really builds community spirit. And you know, in the course of the summer, about 2,500 people attend and have a great time picnicking on the green and doing some good for the nonprofits in the community.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Charles. That was a good description. We have any questions from the committee? Joanne? You're muted, Joanne.
This is a densely populated area. Have there been any issues with parking, complaints with parking around that area?
No, we don't allow more than a few cars actually to park on the green, but people park who are coming from outside the neighborhood park, you know, sort of distributed around. We've never had a complaint about parking. We do allow people who have disabilities to use a small part of the green closest to Middle Street, where they can pull in between the two pillars. And we set up a couple of orange cones. And generally there aren't more than 3 or 4 of those cars. And we look for a disability marker in the windshield to make sure that nobody's taking advantage. But generally people are incredibly well behaved. And a lot of people walk from their homes. One of the beauties of this series is that it's one of the few things that's in a green area in the middle of downtown. There are so few areas where there are. And so most of the people are either residents of the downtown area or live close by.
Bill, 2 people have their hand up. One is Katie Martinson, and I'm not sure if she's going to speak on this event. And the other one is Gordon Bard. He has his hand up, so I'm not sure if he wants to speak on this event also. So what do you want me to do?
Okay. It looks like Katie took her hand down,
Okay.
but if you want to allow Gordon in to speak, that'd be good.
And now I have other people who have raised their hand, so I think they want to speak on this behalf.
So let's start with Gordon. Gordon, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. I am Gordon Baird of 27 Fort Hill Avenue and a proud sponsor of this concert series. And I just want to say, to me, it is such a wonderful part of building community in Gloucester. That's one of the reasons my wife and I have always done it. The music is excellent, but it's that feeling where we're all sitting there and everybody, no offense, kind of old. So I'm in my 70s. That's the crowd. So it's not a loud crowd. It's very well behaved. And I do spy on Charles. He works so hard, but he is so considerate of the volume. He tells it to the bands, he tells it to the people, he tells it to the vendors. So he is extremely conscious of that. And he knows he knows where his good community standing lies. That's all I wanted to say, is how wonderful it is that we have this piece of community in Gloucester, and we'll try hard to stay well behaved. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. I see Maggie has her hand up. Maggie Rosa, can we bring her in?
Yeah.
Maggie?
Unmute. Thank you for this opportunity to support the application.
I'm sorry, Maggie, can you give your name and address for the
Oh,
record first?
excuse
please?
me.
Thank you.
I am Margaret Maggie Rosa, and I reside at 26 Fort Hill Avenue in Gloucester. I'd like to thank the committee for allowing me to support the application by the UU Church. As a member of the Gloucester Education Foundation, the GF has been supported by one of these concerts each year. And I have observed that in agreement with what Gordon says, the crowd is a very well-behaved crowd.
Hi.
Tends to be older and also tends to have young families. So I think it's a great
I know. Just have to wait a second.
activity, and I have never seen any misbehavior or disrespect for the entire area. So I hope that you will approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Can we bring in Lauren Boudreau, please?
Sure. This is Lauren Boudreau-Steves. I reside at 4 Sanderson Court in Gloucester, Mass. So I am one of the people that drives. I tend to park over on Dale Avenue, so I'm not impeding the local area residents when I park. I've been attending the concerts since their start, and I really appreciate the structure of the concert itself, the fact that it, is a free event with music, which is always great, but it supports local vendors and local nonprofits. So I really think it's a community event that really reflects positively for Gloucester as a community. And I concur with the other comments from others. It's a very family-oriented event. And I regularly take my 85-year-old mother and her sister to the event almost every Friday of the summer season. So again, I would appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of support of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
And is Katie going to speak on this? Okay, you have to unmute yourself. Katie, can you unmute yourself?
Joanne, did you mute her?
Because I was some background.
Yeah, she's okay.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
All right, this is Carol Pelazzola. I'm sorry. I'm on my my boss's account for Zoom.
Oh, okay, so we'll have to wait till your application comes up, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
Joanne.
all right, so I'm gonna mute her again, okay.
Okay, so I think we listened to everybody. Do I have any comments from any of the committee members? Any concerns? Jacob? You're muted, Jacob. You have to unmute.
Sorry, first time.
You won't be your last.
No, thank you. No, my question was for Charles. Has anybody reached out to St. John's Church just in regards to parking in their parking lot or anything along those lines?
We have a very friendly relationship between the two churches, but we have actually never asked St. John's to use their parking lot. Our event runs between 6 and 8:30 on Fridays. And generally speaking, I think their lot is fairly empty at that point. But as the host organization is actually the Gloucester Meeting House Foundation. And I should clarify that we are separate from the UU Church in that we are a separate 501 whose responsibility is the big preservation projects on the building. And so we have never made a formal request to St. John's, but I imagine that perhaps some patrons do park over there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, not in concern if anybody was parking there, just excuse me, as Gordon and Maggie were saying, like it's more of an older crowd and everything over there. So just in regards, just wanted to make sure they had approval and whatnot, if closer parking and so they weren't just directly on the streets and whatnot.
Sure.
So
sure.
just curious along that.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yep, thank you.
Joe, you don't get many complaints about parking down there, do you? I haven't heard any parking complaints from that area.
No, not really. I can't recall anything off the top of my head.
Okay. All right, we have any other concerns, questions for Charles? Not hear any. Can I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second? You have to say it, Jacob.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Joanne, roll call vote, please. You're muted.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Rachel Belize Toller,
Yes.
and Jacob Tyler.
Yes.
And the motion passes.
Okay, Charles, you're all set. Thank you very much.
All right.
I hope this wasn't too painful for you.
Not at all.
We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming and explaining and everybody getting on the same page.
That's great. And I hope we'll see you on the green.
All right, thank you, Charles.
Have a good evening.
You too. Our next event is special event 2243, Stagefoot Park Summer Concert Series on Thursday from July 21st, 2022 through September 8th, 2022. Rain date September 15th, September 22nd, September 29th. So this, there's a couple of emails from them going back and forth from the mayor's office to Carol Palazola. And it looks like the location has been changed from Stagefoot Park Bandstand to Harbor Loop, where these concerts have been held in the past, I think, for quite a few years, right? 20-something years, Tanya. Carol, you want to come on and tell us, give us your name and address and tell us about the event?
Hi, it's Carol Palazola. I live at 10B Taylor Street in Gloucester. Yeah, last year when the farmers market wanted to move from Stage 4 to Harbor Loop, I accommodated them by moving my event to Stage 4. So now they're not doing it there anymore, so we're able to go back, which is great. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, so we're back to, our homeland, so to speak. Everyone's really happy. I know there's a big buzz in the community. I just got an email from Jill Cahill saying that they gave us the okay to have it down there and to have the sponsorship come from the city for $2,500. And so we're just going to start the series a little later than usual because I just have a bunch of stuff going on myself. So instead of early July, we'll start July 21st and go to the first 2 weeks of September with a couple of rain dates after. But it's still an 8-week series.
Okay. Joanne, you're muted.
So Carol, can you remind us again if you have any vendors, especially food vendors?
Yeah, usually Billy Goulart comes with Nana's Fried Dough. He's been the only vendor. I don't think we're going to get any more.
Okay. So
I mean, unless I hear from the crowd that they want more, then I'll see about that. But he's usually enough. I'd rather have him make money than, add more, and then it really thins it out for everybody. So.
Okay. You don't have any, if I remember correctly, you don't have any non-food vendors, correct?
That's right.
Or selling T-shirts or any novelties?
No.
No. Okay. So I just want to comment, because we're changing change of location again to Harbor Loop, and you're probably going to have road closures. We're going to have to go to P&D for approval to close the road. So you're going to have to tell us the times of the setup and what time you need to close the road and what time you would need to break down.
So the sound guy and the engineer, the light guy, and even the musicians themselves usually show up around between 4 and 5 to set up. So I usually try to get down there to put up those sawhorses up by 4 o'clock. And then we are done with the music by around 9. And so then we'll break down and probably be done by around 9:30.
Because we'll have to go in and change a whole application because it's not the Stage 4 Park Summer Series at Stage 4 Park. So that's why I wanted to get the times, because this application, once we change the location and the name, I would suggest we change the name to Harbor Loop, back to Harbor Loop Concerts. If the committee doesn't have any objection, because it really isn't Stage 4 Park and we don't want to confuse anybody. And then also I would go back in your application and put that the plan and development needs, you need approval from the plan and development committee for street closures. And that's why I asked about the street closures, because then after I'll have to go in and change your times also for breakdown and setup. So that's why I was asking.
Okay.
Those are all my questions.
When does planning and development meet? When's the next meeting?
The next meeting, actually, the next meeting will be June 22nd. Because first it has to be, this application has to go on the city council agenda to refer it to planning and development. And then the week on June 14th. So the plan and development committee meets on June 22nd. So you'll probably get an invite for that. It's 5:30 and it's done remotely also.
Okay, thank you.
So Joanne, I did just add planning and development, but I don't believe that Carol can change anything on her application.
No, she can't. We have to do it for her.
Right, so do you want her to go to your office or come to my office to do that?
No, why can't we just change it without her coming?
That's fine if you want to
Does she
change
need to
it.
come to the office because she won't be able to change anything?
Right, I just want to make sure we get the right information, but if you have the right information, want to do it, that's fine.
Well, the dates are what Carol said. We're going to change the name to Harbor Loop Concerts and the location to Harbor Loop. What does her application say for the time?
The times are from 5 to 9 every day.
Okay, so that we keep that, and we'll just make a note that the setup and breakdown, the setup would be, we'll have street closures from 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Yes.
And we can just, you know, put that in the application, and then I'll inform the committee.
Okay, one question, looking at the times, she has for September 1st, that's the Thursday before Labor Day weekend. That's not going to interfere with anything else going on that weekend, is it?
I don't think so. Unless you guys have something going on.
Friday night, I think the event goes on Friday night. Is that the right, Joanne?
For
Maritime Gloucester, don't they have
the
a
Maritime Gloucester, I think it's usually Friday, but I'm not sure. I'll have to, if you give me a minute, I can pull out their application from last year.
Let me see. If your income claim, oh no, you don't have dependents, you know, oh, sorry. You're not that. No.
Okay, so last year's application was from September 2nd to the 6th. So that is probably the Friday night.
Yeah, okay. I'm not finding the location on here.
Why need to do this page?
I'll help you out.
The location, because what happened is she put Short Park, so the location would be Harbor Loop.
Or should I make this?
Oh, okay.
Or should I make my second contact?
Besides me? Dad.
I don't think that's gonna let, I don't think it's gonna let me change that location.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna let me change the location, so I'll have to work on that.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got the other changes on there, and I'll work on changing the address, the location. So given the new location at Harbor Loop, can I get a motion to approve this summertime concerts?
Can I do this motion? Because we're gonna have to make a motion to amend the name of the concerts, to amend the location.
Okay,
Okay, so we just can't approve it as she submitted it because we're having this discussion that we should rename the concerts and it's a new location.
okay, please make that motion.
Okay, I move to, in regard to special event 2243, to rename the Stage 4 Park Summer Concert Series to Harbor Loop Summer Concert Series, and to approve the dates as specified, and to change the location from Stage 4 Park to Harbor Loop, and I so move.
Second,
Second,
it's seconded. Can we have a roll call vote, please, Joanne?
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry App,
yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Rachel Belize Toller,
Yes.
and Jacob Tyler.
Yes.
And Joanne Sinos, yes, the motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, everybody. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Have a good day.
You too.
Our next event is special event 2245, Gloucester Harvest Music Festival on September 10th, 2022 at 65 Roger Street, I-4C2 parking lot. Is somebody here to represent them today?
I think Chris Silver is here. I see us, I'm gonna allow her to talk. Let's see if I can move him over. Here we go.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Hello.
Plan.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Please give us your name and address and a description of your event.
Yeah, Christopher Silva, 131 Livingstone Ave, Beverly, Mass. This is our 8th year holding the Gloucester Harvest Music Festival, a nonprofit for the Addison Gilbert Hospital Citizens Fund. We hold it at 65 Roger Street, the I-4C2 parking lot. And like I said, this is our 8th year. We pretty much have a set system of doing it. We hold music from about 10:30 a.m. to about 7 p.m. We have some artisans, some outside vendors, and several food vendors, along with a beer garden.
All right. Are all your vendors through the Board of Health?
Yes. There's several that are already embedded within the city of Gloucester that are doing other events. And then usually we submit a packet by the end of this month with anyone that has not filed or paid for an application for that. I believe Sherry Grassi is the one that has worked with you in the past.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? None? Nobody's
Oh,
talking?
I have my hand up, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joanne, I didn't see.
Okay, so the only thing, Chris, we had you come to this meeting because number one, I sent you the email about getting permission, and it is my understanding from Bill Sanborn that the mayor has agreed to have you hold this event. It's a new administration, so that's why I had you to send you that email.
Yep.
If you ask permission from the mayor, that's the only reason why I sent that. And also on your application, you didn't specify that you were gonna serve alcohol. So we didn't know if that changed. So that's why I had you come to the meeting also.
No, usually we do serve alcohol. We usually apply for the 1-day license.
Yeah, and you didn't check that off on your application. So that's why.
Sorry about that. That's an
okay.
oversight.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure we didn't want to, if anything changed.
No, and we did send an email to the mayor's office, but at the time, I don't think he had a CFO or anyone that was on board at the time, but he did get the email.
Okay. And Bill, you can confirm that permission is granted to use that lot?
Yes, well, it's great. Sal gave me that information from, I believe he talked to Joe Cahill.
Yes, I confirmed it today.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I want to mention is, as you know, the non-food vendors, if they're selling non-food items, they would need a transient vendor permit through the city clerk's office. Also, the application, I don't know if you had it last year. I can send it to you again. Has to go the approval of the police department, the police chief or the assistant deputy Joe Fitzgerald, then the clerk's office, and then after we will issue the transient vendor permit.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, Joe, I imagine you do have police details for this, for traffic and stuff, correct?
I believe we have in the past had details down there, yes.
Okay. And anything with fire? Barry?
Not that I know of.
No, we've always been communicative with the fire department. So if we go over a certain amount of tickets sold or capacity, we will notify them if we have to have EMS on site.
All right, what was that number? Do you remember?
It was 600.
Okay. And what are you expecting, 500?
Yeah, we usually do, we do about 800 to 1,000 during the day, but we don't have more than 500 on site at any given time.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, concerns with this?
No?
I do notice you're gonna have a tent, right? So you're gonna have 2 tents, so those tents do require permits.
Yep. It's the same 2 tents that we've had the last 8 years, and we usually come down, pull a permit for that, and give you the information on the manufacturer and details of the tent.
All right, and do you have, just a reminder, I don't know if you've done it, this is online now, so you do that,
Yep.
apply for that permit online.
I did last year, so.
Yep, okay, perfect. And are you using generators, or using this electric on
We-
site?
No, we usually use one diesel generator in the back corner,
Okay,
and Ringo usually sets that up. We don't run anything across the parking lot.
okay, so Ringo will be in touch with the electrical inspector, and that'll require a permit for the generator, so, okay.
Yep.
All right,
Bill, I have one question again.
yes, go ahead, Joanne.
I believe if you have the liquor being served, you have liability insurance for this event, correct?
Yes, and I believe every year we've got our own liability insurance 1-day permit that we pull, and then I think there's another common or general liability that the city provides.
So that reminds me, that's a new policy that we had, right, Joanne?
Yes, according to Krisna, you spoke to Krisna about it, about the liability insurance on city property.
So if you are having stages, you having tents, you're having any type of rides or amusements, you need to provide a insurance policy for that covers those items.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's sort of maybe a little more detail. We've been advised from our previous city solicitor that the city insurance does not cover things we thought it did cover. It doesn't cover now, though. It hadn't.
okay. Okay, well, we'll have our insurance company look into that and make sure that gets taken care of.
Okay, thank you. Are you having any type of rides or anything down there? I can't remember.
No,
No bouncy houses or anything like that?
never. No, we don't want any of that going on.
Perfect. All right.
Bill, can you mention the liability insurance has to be in the amount of $1 million?
Right. So yeah, the liability insurance is $1 million policy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's changed much though, did it, Joanne? I think that's still the
No,
same.
no, it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
the same. It's just the what Meyer, the city insurance says that they don't cover.
Right. Any other questions? All right, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all right, motion made and seconded. Joanne, roll call vote, please.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
yes,
Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Rachel Belisi Toller,
Yes.
Jacob Tyler,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos, yes, motion passes.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with your event and thank you for putting it on.
You got it. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, next on our agenda is approval of the consent agenda for the following special event approved through Viewpoint online permitting. And it looks like we only have one, which is a special event 2244 Temple Atrium. I'm sorry, I always butcher that, apologize. Friday night, family services on July 16th at Good Harbor Beach. I don't believe anybody has any issues with that. That's been held in the past, and I believe it's a pretty small gathering, right? 50 people, 50, 60 people. And you never had any issues with that, right, Mark?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, can we look for a motion to approve?
Again, so moved.
Seconded?
second,
All right, roll call vote, please.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Barry Apt,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
yes,
Sal DiStefano,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Rachel Belisi Toller,
Yes.
Jacob Tyler,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos, yes, the motion passes.
Great, thank you all. Question. I got an email from Shelley Shalino, who does the schedule our calendar for us, and she's asking a question about the 400 events going through SEAC. How did we decide we're going to determine whether they were authorized events or non-authorized? Did we ever decide that? I know we talked about it, but I don't know if we ever really decided how to determine that.
I don't think this committee has talked about it. I think it was on an internal meeting that we had with Jill and representatives of the 400th.
Okay.
And I guess there are 30 events that are saying they're part of the 400th. And I was asked the question on whether they could just apply on one application. And I told Shelley, no, there's no way to pick and choose whether something has food, whether something has liquor, whether, you know, it's just too much to have one application with 30 events on it. So my suggestion was that they have to apply separately.
Okay, how are we going to determine, because I know the other question came up, how do we determine whether they are actually a 400th event, you know, as in for scheduling? Because we are going to give 400th a priority, correct?
We
How
are,
do
and-
we verify that they are 400th?
Well, I thought on the Viewpoint, Shelley has like possible 400th event or a 400th event. If you look on that on Viewpoint, if you look at an application, didn't she put, had Vicky
Yeah.
put a module in?
Says permitting manager, community development, Gloucester 400th plus proposed status. So if they put something in there, Shelley was going to verify that they were 400? Was that what it was?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right, so we have that covered. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think it'd be up to this committee to verify whether they're part of the 400th or not.
Right, but if we're going to give them priority, we want to know that they are a real 400th event and not just somebody who's saying they're there because they're during that time period. So they don't get bumped. So, okay. That answers that. That's all I have for that. Anybody else have any questions or concerns?
No.
Other than that, and I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
We hear a
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Mary Apt,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Val DiStefano,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Rachel Belisi Toller,
Yes.
Jacob Tyler,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos, yes. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you all. Have a good day. And
Nice to meet everybody.
nice to meet you, Jacob.
I'll see you around.
And Rachel, take care.
Bye-bye.